Hello everyone, thank you for watching the video. So in this video we're going to talk about Nifty and Bank Nifty. You can see a chart of Nifty. This is a daily chart. Last Friday there was a big red candle formed on the daily chart. So we want to understand this red candle in the context of what's been happening. To do that, we'll go back to mid-June when this big rally started. Nifty went from roughly 15,200 all the way up to around 18,000 without any meaningful pause. So you can understand, in that context, you can understand why we might have some selling. Now, during this rally, a number of things happened, so it's important to understand. Nifty was on a downtrend. It was going down the moving averages. So I've got three moving averages here. The black one is the 200-day moving average. The green one is the daily 50 exponential moving average. The yellow one is the daily 20 exponential moving average. So the 20 and the 50 EMAs were trending down. So when this rally happened, they crossed and they started moving up. This is a positive development. You want to see the moving averages going higher. So they crossed here and they started moving higher. And what the 20 EMA also did is it crossed the 200-day simple moving average, which is also positive. The 50 EMA hasn't yet crossed the 200-day EMA. I think it's just a matter of time. In coming days, we're going to see this crossover, which is also a bullish thing. Additionally, what happened was the momentum indicators also started to move higher. See, this is MACD. MACD prior to mid-June was below the zero line. So this is the zero line, was below the zero line, which shows weak momentum. But after it crossed here, it started moving higher. It crossed above the zero line and continued to move higher, showing that the momentum was still positive. RSI was around 30, below 30, and it started moving higher and it went well above 80. So while that shows the momentum was strong, it also suggested overbought. This is stochastic indicator which also started moving higher and was in overbought territory. So while this rally was powerful, as indicated by the momentum indicators, it also suggested that we were reaching an overbought area. Another indication was I look at where the price is in relation to the moving averages. Oftentimes you'll see that when price goes away from the moving averages, either to the upside or to the downside, there is a propensity to move towards the moving averages. If you look here, so prices fell, it was away from the moving average. So there was a propensity to move towards the moving average. Here too, when it fell, it was away from the moving averages by some distance. So there was a propensity to move to the moving average. On the upside here, you'll see that prices rose and was above, well above the moving averages. It got pulled back. Here too, you see prices rose. So if we look at now, you see that before the sell-off, the price was well above. This is the 20 EMA. It was well above the moving average. And this is the 50 EMA. So you can see the price was well above the both 20 and 50. So you know that when that happens, there will be a propensity for the price to move towards the moving averages. So given all of that, where do we see price going in coming days? So obviously I'll talk about the daily levels, but I want to start with a smaller time frame so we can understand what's happening. So this is a 2-hour chart of Nifty. So I have a channel drawn here. You can see that, so this is the upper end of the channel. You see that every time it comes towards the upper end of the channel, it pulls back. And then this is the lower end of the channel. Each time it comes towards the lower end, it rises. So Friday's selling has brought it right to the middle of this channel. So this is kind of like a support zone, or an equilibrium level, you could say. If Nifty falls below this level, there's a good chance that we could see Nifty move towards the lower end of the channel. So depending upon when it comes back to the lower end of the channel, it's the lower of the channel right now is around 17,450 or thereabouts. So that would be one level to keep an eye on, which is the lower end of this channel, which is around 17,400, 17,450, in that vicinity. So this is using a smaller time frame. Now if we go back to the daily time frame, which is a higher time frame, what we want to do is see where this 20 EMA is. The 20 EMA right now is around 13,330. Now this is moving higher, so each day it's going to go up a little bit. So another area of interest would be Nifty comes and touches this 20 EMA, which would act as a support area. So right now it's around 17,330. Below that is the 200-day moving average, which is right now around 17,000. So those would be the levels that we want to watch. We want to watch the 17,000, which is where the 200-day is sitting. We want to look at where the 20 exponential moving average is, which is around 17,330. And then we also want to watch this channel. The lower end of this channel is around 17,450-ish. So those are the three levels we want to be watching. Additionally, we also want to see that this MACD, which is about to cross right now, we don't want to see this MACD cross and go below the zero line. You see right here, we don't want to see this. Once it goes below the zero line, it indicates that momentum is decreasing, and we don't want that. We want it to stay above the zero line. Yes, it can cross, but it can cross and kind of like here, it crossed above the zero line, but then it's stayed kind of near the zero line. So if I look to the left here, you can see that it crossed and then it stayed above the zero line. This is the zero line. What we don't want to see is that it cross and go below the zero. And if it does, that's an indication that it's the momentum is weakening. So that's one thing we want to see, and we want to see it on a daily time frame. Another thing we want to see is RSI. RSI right now is at 72. So this first purple line is 61.8. So this would be one area where it can come down to. The other area is this gray line, which is the RSI 50. You can see that it bounced off this RSI 50. You can see right here RSI 50 acted as a resistance area. You can see there was a resistance at RSI 50. So we don't want, so this RSI 50 would now act as a support. We don't want to see RSI falling below 50. That would indicate a weakening of momentum. So that's all for Nifty. So we want to watch what happens to price in relation to the moving averages, and we want to see the momentum indicators. We want them to pull back. We don't want them to fall below critical levels, which would indicate that the momentum is actually weakening. Now let's have a look at Bank Nifty quickly. Having discussed Nifty, the Bank Nifty also, it had a massive run up from about 32,300 in mid-June all the way up to 40,000. That's a big run up, and that's why you see this big red candle. Again, we've discussed some of the principles in Nifty. So in Bank Nifty also, if we start off with a smaller time frame, so this is the 2-hour chart. I have a channel here. So each time it goes to the upper end of the channel, it pulls back. It closed right below the middle of the channel. So if there's further weakness, it could pull back to the lower end of the channel. At the moment, the lower of the end of the channel is around 38,300 level. So that would be the first area of interest. This is where the buyers, I would expect the buyers to step in. But if this level is breached, then there is additional levels that we can see from the daily chart. The first area would be the 20 EMA, which is this yellow line. Right now it's around 38,000. So this one is going up, so it would be going up a little bit more. So this is around 38,000. Beyond there, there's the 50-day EMA. The 50-day is around 36,600. So those would be the levels that we want to keep an eye on. We don't want it to weaken too much further. If it goes below the 20 and 50, that would suggest that there is something, there's more weakness than than we think. So we want to see that these two moving averages and the 200 provide support. Equally, the MACD, we don't want MACD to go below the zero line. The RSI, we don't want it to go below the 50 level. So as long as it stays above those levels, then any pullback would be viewed to be within the context of this uptrend. In fact, you might say that this is actually healthy. It's healthy because when something goes up from 32,000 to 40,000 without taking a break, it runs out of steam. So it needs to break. So we need to see some pullback, some consolidation before the next leg up. So that's all I have for Bank Nifty. Watch the moving averages, watch the trading channel, and we'll see what happens to the momentum indicators. Thank you very much for watching the video.